Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Welcome to The Wedding Wear with officiating by Amanda. The Wedding Wear, Disney was the theme. Welcome back to The Wedding Wear podcast, where we dive into unique and fun, memorable, and infamous at times wedding moments. And this week we are talking about a theme that is near and dear to so many, and that is Disney. If I'd been a little more, tech savvy with the recording, I would have had like "A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes" in the background. Whether you grew up on these anime classics, or you've been to the parks, or you just love the magic that Disney brings, Disney-themed weddings do happen a lot and can be a dream come true. But like anything wedding related, there's all sorts of different levels. And that is very true when you think about incorporating a fandom or a theme into your wedding day. So I'm going to share a story of a couple whose wedding was a lot about Disney, as well as break down some of the different ways you could infuse Disney magic into your ceremony, whether you're going to do subtle nods or full-on fairy tale. So let's dive in. One of my favorite Disney-themed weddings, and I've done a few, was actually for a former student of mine. I worked at a college for 8.5 years, and while I was there was this really incredible woman. She's a student intern in the Greek life department, and her love of Disney was so well known then that she pushed for the Greek week theme to be Disney. It was a great time. I still have the t-shirt for it. Flash forward a few years, and she's engaged to her wonderful partner who has embraced her Disney passions. They are Disney adults, maybe not the most crazed of Disney adults, but they do annual travels to the park. Their ears are at the ready, and they did celebrate their engagement with a trip to Disney, and I'm pretty sure they did their honeymoon at Disney. So it was very clear that Disney would need to be a part of their ceremony. But when I met with them, that was the question. How much Disney? I always take my own levels aside with any fandoms. There are some I could dive crazily into, and there are others that I don't fully get. So I like to work with the couple and ask them, okay, how big are we thinking? Do I need to go, re-up my subscription of Disney Plus to make sure that I have all the little hidden Mickeys and the Easter eggs throughout your ceremony? And really, there's 3 main ways that I kind of describe for incorporation of a theme into a wedding: sprinkling, scattering, whole hog. So sprinkling is very subtle. It is blink and you'll miss it. It is woven in so nicely that even if you never watched a movie or read the book or, connected in with the fandom at all, you're not alienated by it. The message still gets across. You know what to say. It works. So for a Disney theme, adding in happily ever after line at the end is a great nod. Or going with a quote from one of the movies that streamlines its way in without saying, "From up, remember when Ellie said this?" It's really great for couples who love a theme, especially for Disney, but don't want it to be the headline for their wedding. The scattering option is a little more obvious. And I always try to acknowledge at the start of a ceremony, hey, we're going to have some references here, just so that those who are in the audience who might not know it go, okay, I wasn't supposed to get that, or that must be a Disney thing and I don't really understand it. Because if not, they're going to feel like almost like their hearing aids are off. They're going to feel like they really missed something. For scattering, I might start a ceremony by saying, if you know the couple, you know that they love Disney. So in honor of their tale as old as time, keep a little Mickey ear out for some extra magic. It acknowledges the theme, but it doesn't take it over completely. And then I'm more likely to weave in more things throughout the ceremony that are fitting to the theme And I can get a little more, obscure and some side movies, especially if there's some great quotes about love, some good lines from songs, just tie them in. The last option is going whole hog. And that is exactly what it sounds like. I've done whole hog for a few different fandoms, and it works if not only the couple is all in, but if most of the attendees are all in and understanding, if the venue is all in, if you have Disney Deco and Disney invites, and you want me to quote Walt Disney directly in your ceremony, if you are, so excited that your honeymoon is going to be at Disney, this is the level for you. So those were kind of what I brought to the table when talking with the couple of how much Disney are we talking? And I asked that for any of fandoms. How much Star Wars? How nerdy in the Shire can I get with Lord of the Rings? Tell me, Harry Potter, are you a muggle? Are you a wizard? Are you somewhere in between? So for this couple, we landed between scattering and whole hog. Their decorations were Disney touches. The bride wore Mickey ears at the reception, and they really wanted their ceremony to be infused with references to fairy tales and adventures that they've already taken or that they're going to take while keeping a focus on their love story. Perfect. So one of my favorite readings is Marriage Is, and it's a bunch of sentences about all the great things to bring into a marriage. Marriage is never going to bed angry, and it's remembering to find the best in each other. And it's a section that I highly customize for weddings that speak more to the couple. And it's one where if a fandom's in play, I acknowledge it a lot. For them, I pulled in Disney couple examples like Ellie and Carl from Up, and I wrote that marriage is emulating the love that we've seen in movies like Ellie and Carl. Let's be real, marriage isn't always singing birds and magical transformations. It's about saving up and making sacrifices and cherishing time with each other. And just putting in a couple lines like that throughout this reading really helped that scattering happen. And we had a couple lines from Walt Disney. We referenced that the couple was going to vow to each other to always take Disney trips. Really, really, really fun. And that's kind of where we blended our way between the scattering and the whole hog. So if you're thinking about bringing a little Disney magic into your ceremony, I've got a couple ways to do it. And if you're listening to this going, oh, but I like another theme or another fandom, drop me a line. Let me know which one. I will build a whole episode to share some examples of ways that you can sprinkle, scatter, or whole hog any fandom in for your big day. So first off is to start with quotes and readings. Like I said before, these can be really subtle. They could be to infinity and beyond as a part of your vows or as an introduction to the couple that their love goes to infinity and beyond. Or they could be very direct quotes. One of the ones I've used before is from Walt Disney. Growing old is mandatory, but growing up is optional. And I can't wait to grow old with you. You could do as I did and really reference the Disney couples and what they reflect in real life marriage dynamics. Although don't read too heavy into that. My husband and I referenced Beauty and the Beast in our marriage, more so because we love books insanely. But I wouldn't want anyone thinking that I necessarily want a love like Beauty and the Beast with some kidnapping and Stockholm syndrome. We'll pass on that. Keep it high level. Just think about what it is that you really want to reflect in. Within the ceremony, there's some really cute little phrases that could sprinkle in the Disney magic, like, may you live happily ever after, with a closing, live happily ever after as you kiss your bride, or acknowledging, any place with you is the happiest place on earth. Oh, so sweet. If you're doing your Unity ceremony already, and you're like, oh, we've already got that. How can we make that, into a little bit more than what it is? Let's go with it. So a Beauty and the Beast inspired rose ceremony of exchanging. Typically it's a rose vase. I'll have a whole episode on some different unities, but essentially the bride brings forth a vase. This is going to be part of the house and part of our home. And I bring this vase as a symbol of, kind of upkeep I'll keep doing in our family, and I'll nurture, grow, support. And the groom brings forth a rose, and I will commemorate this day with love and with roses. I'll bring the other piece of the puzzle into this marriage to make the full, beautiful aspect of our lives of a rose and a vase. But we could really tie in some Beauty and the Beast elements. If you're doing a sand ceremony, what aspects could we bring in for the Little Mermaid? Is there a dingle hopper that gets stuck in the sand at the end? Is there a seashell? Is there a little resin crab, or, something cute that could really come in? The couple I did the Disney wedding with, they went with a wine blending. And while it doesn't necessarily scream Disney, there was talk about how they're going to the Wine and Food Fest, and they love the Wine and Food Fest. Their wines were not from the Wine and Food Festival, but that would have been another really cool element. But there's a lot to be done to take the unique things that you're already doing and let them have anywhere from little touches to big touches to the fandoms that you like. You could incorporate your fandoms through your music choices and your entrances. Like I was saying before, I wish I had had the tech know-how to do A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes for the intro for this episode. But you could do that for your wedding. Or Can You Feel the Love Tonight? An instrumental. I often think of I Can Go the Distance from Hercules, that big swell, I've often dreamed of a far off place. Yeah. Amanda, record the podcast. No one wants to hear you sing. And lastly, you could really make a theme tie-in with your attire or with the decoration. There's a ton of channels about Disney bounding color schemes to fit. Maybe everyone's got Mickey Mouse ears. Maybe there's some boards that really, what's your favorite Disney movie? And the wedding I was at, all of the table numbers were different characters from Disney, different silhouettes of the characters from Disney, which was really cute. At the end of the day, your wedding is yours, and it should be a reflection of what you like and things that make you happy. And if other people get it, that is great. But at the end of the day, it should be for you. So what does that mean? Well, it means we could do a casual Disney reference, or we could do a full-on Cinderella ball, all the bells, whistles, dress me up as Lumiere, let's go. The key is deciding how much of your theme you want incorporated and what makes it feel authentic to you. I would love to hear from you guys. Have you been to a themed wedding? What was the theme? How did they do with incorporating it? Did they go just a little sprinkling? Did they go overboard? Was it whole hog and a little overbearing? Let me know in the comments. Feel free to send me a message or an email. And as I said before, if you are thinking of doing a different theme and you would love some ideas, I'd love to put together an episode on a theme that you'd like to hear about. I do have ones that will be forthcoming on the wedding where R2-D2 delivered the rings, the wedding where we rolled in the Shire. Yep, I've done quite a few for Lord of the Rings and Star Wars as well. Don't forget, our listener Q&A will be coming up at the end of March. So please, any wedding-related questions or any wedding-related stories you have that you want to share with me, get my reaction to, please send them my way. I'd love to connect more. Thank you so much for listening. And until then, bippity-boppity-boo, may all of your dreams come true. Thank you for listening to The Wedding Wear with Officiating by Amanda. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and found some inspiration or insight for your own special day. This podcast is hosted on Buzzsprout and can be found on all major platforms. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, and share to help us reach even more listeners who might laugh a little at The Wedding Wear. For the links referenced in the show, visit Linktree at Officiating by Amanda. You can also follow the business on Facebook, Wedding Wire, and The Knot to stay up to date on everything going on. If you have a question you'd like me to answer on the podcast, just send an email to theweddingwearpodcast@gmail.com. And if you're ready to inquire about officiating services for your own big day, you can reach me at officiatingbyamanda@gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, this has been Amanda.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.